box on some of our lectures in class. So we're lucky to have here today the co-founder of Diet in a Box. That's one of the most successful and one of the most promising startups in Cebu today. So let's welcome Chime.
Oh, thank you so
Hi,
much.
Chime.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Hi.
thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So yeah, actually, and it's a good thing. I actually invited Chime last Monday, right? Well, that was last Monday. So, I don't think that he will accept the invitation, but it's a good thing that you did, and thank you very much for this opportunity for us to talk to you. So, yeah, so I'll start with the first question. So, I sent you like a list of questions already.
Yeah,
That's a
I'm really
lot.
sorry about that. I was not able to read the email. I was out of office the whole day.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
No worries
But
at
I'll
all.
answer everything tonight.
That's great, thank you. And I know that they have a lot of questions as well, but I'll start with mine. And the first, batch of questions is really about diet in a box. So, yeah, I kind of stalked the company earlier. Read some of the write-ups online about diet in a box, and I learned that it was awarded best wellness food delivery at Sunstar's Best of Cebu in 2016. And then there are a lot of reviews about Diet in a Box, really positive ones from people who have experienced dining or getting food delivered via Diet in a Box. So and I'm sure the others are also curious. So maybe you can tell us a story about Diet in a Box. How did you get into this business? How did you start?
Yeah, sure. 2015, I met Chef Bibo. So I was introduced to him at a family party. And then, yeah, at that time, I was still working at a corporate. And he was still studying at that time too. So he was studying and working at the same time in Marco Polo. So and then immediately we became close friends. I met his family, and yeah, 6 months after our friendship, we've thought of like establishing something that we really want to do here in Cebu, because like we're pretty young. We want to change the world and all that. Very ambitious. So yeah, so on our weekly trips to his resort in Aluginsan, I met the family. They're very, very kind. The only problem at that time was that his mom would serve us vegetables. Like every time we go to their place, it's always vegetables, and it's something that personally I am not really a fan of vegetable before. Back in the days, I wouldn't really touch my vegetables. So knowing Bibo that he is an extraordinary chef, he revolutionized the vernacular flavor of the vegetable, and I kind of like it because it's something that's it's something that's foreign, but it's familiar in the eyes. You know that it is the local vegetable, but the taste is now different. He revolutionized it in a way. So yeah, so I told my friends of it. I brought a few of the ingredients here. They kind of like it too. So that was the spark of our idea. I told Bibo that I think this could be one of the many things that we can contribute to our society. We could like revolutionize the way people perceive healthy meals, because if I was able to like switch to a healthier way of eating by means of your creativity, then I could also encourage other people. So yeah, that was it. We only started with 5 clients, and those clients were forced to order. They were forced to order because all of them were my learners. And then yeah, and then it grew in a week. We had 25 already right after the first 5, and then it continued. And yeah, now we already have 500 clients in the pipeline, and on a weekly that we cater. So that's the start of it. So since 2016, we have been awarded as best wellness food delivery here in Cebu up until 2019. So it's been 4 years already that we have been awarded as best wellness food delivery in Cebu.
Mm. So
Yeah.
basically, healthy food that tastes good as well.
Yeah, it's not just like the kind of food, the hospital food, like we
Mm-hmm.
always associate like healthy meals to.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not like that. So we are actually putting an advocacy, which is to revolutionize the way people perceive healthy meals,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so that's the advocacy that we always put life to whenever
Mm-hmm.
like whenever we do debriefs at the office. I always start our debriefing with remembering our advocacy, so that everyone's really anchored to that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What do you mean by debrief? Debrief with employees?
Yeah, on a daily we have daily debriefings. We call it town hall meetings.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, so every town hall before we, because that's the only time where we get to that's the only time where we get, it's part of our system that we created. So I've engineered this working rhythm where everybody gets to share their insights about work, and we always, that time we can also talk about the things that we did great during the shift and the things that also needs to be strengthened. It's an hour debrief where we get to talk about those things, and I always start my session with remembering everybody the reasons why we're doing what we're doing, the
Mm-hmm.
reasons why we exist, the reason why there is Diet in the Box, and why they are there in the office, why they need to come to work, their
Mm-hmm.
importance, their values. So that's the kind of language that that we use in the office. So I anchor them into that. I always anchor everybody into that language. So yeah, I always start with our purpose, that Diet in a Box is not really here to earn money. um, Profit is just actually the result of what we do. The reason why we do what we do is that we have a bigger purpose, and that's to revolutionize the way people perceive healthy meals.
How big is your company right now? Like, how many employees do you have?
Um, Through and through end-to-end process, we already have 36,
Mm,
36 employees,
okay,
plus 12 drivers.
got
Why
it.
do I always keep on forgetting them? 12 and plus 12 drivers, yeah.
And how are you currently set up? Like, do you have a dine-in facility, or is it like purely delivery?
We have this what we call a cloud kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a commissary, a physical commissary.
Mm-hmm.
So I built the commissary right next to our house.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to be strategic. Like most of my friends, they go out there and establish their physical store and
Mm-hmm.
pay big rents, and that's something that's not really needed for my business, because I'm running an advocacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
To begin with. So since the nature of my business is purely on delivery, I created a cloud kitchen. We still have a physical commissary. It's really huge. And yeah, that's it. We cook, and then I made my own fleet too. Like I have 12 drivers. Then
Mm-hmm.
I asked them to deliver it for me, for the
Mm-hmm.
team, and then
Okay.
they deliver. And then we grew our delivery um, counting now, because we're now partners also with Lala Move. So like the team's growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what about yourself? What is your background? I mean, your partner is a chef. What about yourself?
I am a fairy in the rainbow. No, I am a global leadership trainer. So
Okay.
I've been
Wow.
I've been a global leadership trainer for 8 years. I think eight
Mm-hmm.
years already. Yeah, and then yeah, still
Mm-hmm.
am a global leadership trainer. So I'm I'm more on creating modules for global
Mm-hmm.
leadership training, and then I also do trainings for other companies
Mm-hmm.
for global leadership, and then I also do business development for other companies.
That's great. And I saw on Facebook that there are more and more like, small startups that are doing the same thing that you're doing, although they don't have like this web storefront that you have. Um, are you, are you considering them competitors, or who are you competing with right now?
Wow, that's a good question. um, competing is such a big word, no?
Mm-hmm.
I To be honest with you, the reason why I said it's a good question, because like I've I've been asked of that. When was that? I think 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be honest with you, I told the same answer. I actually don't have. I don't see anybody like. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know that they're doing the same thing as what we're doing, right? But when it comes to competition, I think there is no worthy rival yet. Yeah, I think that let's just put it that way. There's no worthy rival. Diet in a box. I've seen many people do like like healthy food delivery too, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm pretty much anchored to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I know the reasons why I do what I do, so I'm very articulate when it comes to the things that I do, and with that, when I look into other companies, I always check on if there are purpose-driven company or they're values-driven or purpose-driven, and by far for businesses that's similar to ours, yeah, I think there is no worthy rival yet. Hopefully there will be, but I'm really thankful that there are other companies who are also doing the same thing as
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing, because we right now our problem is we can't really serve everybody,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just difficult. And for now we can only facilitate up to 500 clients on a weekly, so that's on a every day, Monday to Friday. We deliver to 500 clients, and that's the only we can't that's the ceiling, so we can't go more than or
Mm-hmm.
beyond than 500 because of the manpower. And I don't want to serve them I don't want to serve quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we're
yeah.
talking about 500 clients, like 500 individuals, or do you have
Yeah,
like corporate clients as well?
yeah, 500 individuals.
And what about the locations? Are you?
We are now facilitating deliveries outside of Cebu City too. So
Mm-hmm.
we're now facilitating deliveries in Mandaue. We also have in Mactan,
Mm-hmm.
Talisay. So that's the reason why we're in partnership with Lala Move, because I have nothing bad to say about them. They're like the best company that I've partnered with, because like they help us move our deliveries
Mm-hmm.
to Mactan, to Talisay, to Consolacion, like to
Mm-hmm.
places that's really far from our HQ.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry. That's
this
my
is all
dog.
good.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
that's my dog.
yeah. So anyone has a question?
I'm sorry, real quick. I
Sure.
just have to leave real quick. Okay, I'll just get my dog real quick. I'm so
Okay, sure, sure. No
Sure, sure,
worries, no
sure.
worries. Yeah, guys. You might want to ask, or do you have like questions for him? Feel free lang to ask.
None so far, miss.
Just
Yeah.
siya. Asa na yung question?
Go siya.
uh, uh,
Represent.
I'm so sorry.
okay.
Um,
Hi.
Oh, that's a cute dog.
Thank you. Her name is
Oh.
Marimar.
what
Okay.
what's her name? His name?
Marimar.
Oh,
Marimar, she's a girl.
She's a girl, yeah.
Okay.
sige, question,
In
chat,
fact,
Charissa?
Yeah, I'm a bit interested of about your business. So, if you're talking about diet in the box, so you mean you want to provide service, you want to help people to monitor healthy lifestyle, right? On the per meal basis, right? So, are you planning to provide this to corporates as well, like giving, uh, bulk orders for corporates? Planning to provide bulk orders.
Yeah, we're actually doing that, Teresa, since
Mm,
2016. So we also have a lot of corporate partners, and then we offer them
okay.
corporate discounts too, like banks. We also have corporates from IT Park. And then since 2007, we've been partners with different hospitals too. So
Ah,
yeah. So the prices also differ if it's like a corporate
Okay.
sounds
or an
good.
institution.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool.
Any
And
other question?
mm, Jess?
Okay, so maybe if you have questions later, you can ask, but I'll move on to the next batch of question, and this is related to the pandemic and how it's impacting the business. So, this current pandemic has crippled a lot of businesses, especially, travel and tourism and also the food industry. So, how has Diet in a Box been impacted, and what is the extent of the impact?
Um, Another good question. Well, when where do I start with that? Oh God, what was that? Um, Back in March when the ECQ was rolled out, it- I had to personally gather the team um, at 11 in the evening, and we had to really discuss, our plans about COVID. Like,
Mhm.
as a company, as a team, as a family, how are we supposed to further advance our cause, right? And then at that time, it was really difficult for us to formulate or to engineer a system, because we don't really understand COVID at that time yet. Back in March, we don't really understand the entirety, like how it can affect our business. So then we decided to just, since it really concerns our health and the public, we decided to like temporarily suspend our operations for about a month.
Wow.
So yeah. But when I say temporarily suspend operations, it's just really more about the cooking that we have
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
suspend, and the deliveries too. But the back of house team, we continued to work. So I myself included in the back of house team. Um, we communicate through Zoom or through
Mhm.
Facebook, and then that's where the planning then was formulated. So we engineered. So for 4 weeks, we have engineered a working rhythm
Mhm.
that could help us continue our business come May 18, because the plan was to like resume on the 18th. But to answer your question of how greatly impacted were, um, I wouldn't say we were like greatly impacted as a business, because despite the fact that we weren't operating, um, we never really lost a lot of money.
Mhm.
Um, and as business owners too, Bibo and I, we never failed to, we continued to help our employees, and that's one thing that I'm really proud about. Um, we even helped their families too for about a month. And what pushed us to move to the 18th was the fact that, like a lot of our clients have been calling us in. So
Mhm.
it was more about um, how ready were we to like reopen. It was
Mhm.
more of like that, because we were scared to resume operations by that time. So yeah.
Um, yeah, and that brings me to my next question, which is really about digitalization, because a lot of like traditional restaurants, even traditional businesses, are forced to fast track their digitalization. While you were already digital from day one. So you have a web storefront, take orders and all. Um, how has this helped you in this situation? Do you think that you're in a better situation compared to the others because of this, preparedness that you have?
Yeah, I would say
Mm,
it was an advantage. It
mm,
was a great advantage that I started as a cloud
mm,
operation.
mm,
Like, because I never really had a physical store.
mm,
So and then my market, they already know that facilitating orders, taking deliveries, it's done through site. So
mm,
it was a great advantage for us to. There was no change at all. Like, in
mm,
fact, it was just really us. It was just like the readiness of the team. Like, how ready are we to resume again? So, but in terms of like, shifting to digital, encouraging our clients to do digital, um, there was no like much effort on that because on set we were already like that. So,
mm.
yeah, it was a
Although
great.
probably the transportation for the employees coming to the office daily with the public transportation. How did you get around it?
We shelter them in.
Okay.
So yeah. So one of our so for 4 weeks, remember that we were while the rest of the team were on a break for 4 weeks, for a
Mm-hmm.
month. The back of house team nonstop. We were like doing a lot of planning. We
Mm-hmm.
were like strategizing, and one of our plans, should we move forward, is to shelter everybody in, regardless if you're from the city or from the province, or regardless from what department you're in the business. So we have to shelter you in. So
Mm-hmm.
the first step was to cascade, to let everybody know that that's a plan, and if you're good with that, then yeah, let's face COVID and resume operations. And luckily, I think one great thing um, about Diet in a Box team is that we're very anchored to our purpose. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
really know the reasons why we exist. So when we had that conversation, it wasn't difficult for me to convince them to resume operations because, like, they themselves, they also think of our clients. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what could have they been eating right now? Because the clients that we've been serving them for like more than 3 years already, more than 4 years. The business has been established for 5 years, but we have clients who have been with us for 3 years, 4 years. People with cancer, people with diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
people with a lot of like medical conditions. So we know them personally because we prepare their food on a daily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't difficult for us to like convince the team to resume because they were just actually waiting for a good plan for us to resume.
That's good.
Mm.
Um, Another thing is with the lockdowns and all, as well as continued prohibitions with like indoor dining, we're seeing more and more restaurants like doing the same things that you're doing, like take out as well as delivery, either through their own riders or through services like Lalamoose. Do you see this as like a threat to your company?
A threat? I think that's a big word. No,
Okay,
I don't. No, I don't.
okay,
Here's the thing about myself. I
Mhm.
actually have a lot of friends who are also business owners, and
okay.
I actually help them. The good thing about
Mm-hmm.
me is that I bring people along to my journey. So I have a lot of friends. I've seen that their businesses are down right now. So believe it or not, we have a lot of food here. If I'll show you my pantry, but I still order from them on a daily. Like, I still, yeah. So the reason for that is these people are also thriving whilst we are on this pandemic. So they're doing their very best to also survive. And um, we have to bring them along to our. I think
Mm-hmm.
amongst my circle, I'm the only one that's not truly that affected. And
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
food business is not.
yeah, so I told them that, hey, if you need help for delivery, like you could also borrow my drivers because, we're done with our deliveries by 11 in the morning. So if you need deliveries in the afternoon, you could just
Mm-hmm.
coordinate with them. So I think that wouldn't be a threat. I think the only threat that I could think of is if our economy will go down. That's just
Yeah.
one threat that I
Worried
don't
about.
want to face it.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
yeah,
That's
but
a
so far Cebu is thriving. People thought that, maybe I myself I even thought that maybe we will just have like a few clients for this season.
Mm.
But to my surprise, we actually have a lot of people in the pipeline. Um, yeah, the only
Yeah,
problem right now which is a good problem, is like, how do I schedule all the deliveries?
I think also one of the reasons why people intend to order online is that maybe they perceive that your business is serving good food quality and it's safe to eat for
Yeah,
the people. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's COVID free and stuff like that.
Yeah.
mm.
Exactly. In fact, like before we resumed last 18th of May, I showed everybody our our safety measures on a video on Facebook. I think I was the very first Cebuano business that made a video for my business.
Yeah, actually we saw it in Facebook. We saw one
Yeah.
of your protocols there.
Yeah, so and nobody maybe because everybody was still doing their, still the planning stage, whilst for us we're already done. So yeah, they trusted us that, the safety part is we got that covered, and then it's a bonus that we are serving healthy meals, so it's very critical at this pandemic. So
Mm.
yeah, a lot of clients this season.
That's interesting. I also read this. I think there was this note that was posted about like contactless delivery.
Yeah.
If you recall that, yes. So, would you mind like elaborating about this and how do you like implement contactless delivery?
We call that the no touch delivery.
No touch. Okay.
Yeah, the no touch delivery.
Okay.
So the no touch or the contactless is actually pretty much the same theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
The no touch delivery is that our drivers are no longer allowed to go near the client. So
Okay.
prior our drivers visiting their premises, our clients are informed like where our drivers will leave their package,
Mm-hmm.
or um, should they fail to pay online and they need to pay cash, they have to put it on our no touch delivery box. So they just have to put their money in, and our drivers are situated 6 meters away from them. And then once they're done, they do a hand signal, and then my driver then goes near the box, gets it, puts the change in, stays away, and then the client checks the package,
Mm-hmm.
check reviews if everything's all good, and then if it's all good, they give a sign, and they're done with their delivery. So um, by far, for since May 18, we don't have any reports of any COVID um, in the headquarters. So it's really working, and thank God. Thank God.
That's good. What about the payment systems? You were talking about, cash being put inside the box. I mean, did you do any other change, like using GCash or other payment methods?
Yeah, we also do that. We've been doing that ever since too.
Okay.
Yeah, like bank transfer or GCash, and I think that's one thing that I've had dinner with my friends
Mm-hmm.
a couple of nights back, and then that's what I've been telling everybody since, that this even before the pandemic. Um, the market is evolving, the
Mm-hmm.
need is evolving too. So if no one's going to start changing the way you're doing things now, if you do not recognize the convenience and the effectivity of the digital power, then your business will be left behind. and
Mm-hmm.
and this is a perfect example of it. So I never had to change anything major because we've been already doing it. We've been already anchored to the digital since we started. So
Hmm.
it's a good lesson for everybody.
That's great. And what about all these like ECQs, MECQs, and all sorts of quarantine protocols? So, I read like something you wrote about like the difficulties that you're experiencing with the getting permits and all. Have you resolved it? Has it been resolved? And
Yeah, yeah,
so
it has been resolved.
what
On
what
that
was the issue?
on that day that I complained,
Okay.
Jesus Christ, that gathered a lot of like, that gathered a lot of engagement from people. I didn't realize that that would go viral. That was, and I didn't realize myself too that my profile on Facebook is under public, so everybody could see what I post.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I got about um, I think 12,000 engagements, their reactions, and the comments were like a lot of comments, like 2,000 comments,
Mm-hmm.
and it reached to the good thing there was it reached to the right office, and
Okay.
it reached to the right office, and on that day too, it reached to the right office, and they were able to we were able to um, resolve it with them, like uh,
I
how
think you
do I
mentioned
put
the
it?
word unfair or something.
Yeah, it was unfair. You know, the thing with the whole, I love Cebu so much. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I grew up here. This is like this is this is my home. Cebu is my home. But the kind of governance that we're having right now. This is just my personal point of view. Okay, so nothing political or nothing. Um, um, Not that I'm poisoning the well or anything like that, but um, you know, as a business person, and as a person that's running a cause,
Mm-hmm.
it's unfair for for my people,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, to not receive direct information from whatever office that's leading our operations on field. Okay, and at that time it was a bit unfair for that office to not inform us that there's a new permit that they're requiring, and at that time we were not aware. That was a week where like they just announced something that there's like a lockdown around 10 in the evening, things like that, and that's very unfair, that's very unprofessional, because people sleep. There are people who sleeps early, so yeah. And for our team it was unfair because we didn't know that they needed something new from us, so we can no longer proceed to the border. And what's sad about that, what's very painful, was you can no longer talk to them human to human. For them it was just really black and white, that if you have this, then you're good to go, and if you don't have this, then you can't go. But regardless, that's like regardless of what you're carrying with you. And for us, this is something perishable. It's food, and it's not just like
Mm-hmm.
normal food. These are like food from people who are in need of who are in need of healthy meals. There are people with medical conditions, people with cancer, people with diabetes, but they didn't allow us. And unfortunately, we had to dispose a few of them because these meals are very delicate if it's not kept in a normal room temperature for more than 30 minutes. Its ingredients would start to develop bad bacteria and it would eventually spoil. So my drivers phoned, and then they told us that, sir, like, di na gid ni mada, sir, na panos na gid ni. And it's something that we can't give to other people, because if it's
Mm-hmm.
already spoiled, then we can't just like freely give it to other people, right?
That's
even if
right.
even if you tell us that, hey, you just have to give it to like like kids off the street, or like people off the street, and I go, no, that's something that shouldn't be done, because panos naman na, you don't give something panos to other people kaya maglain sa nailang tiyan. So we had to dispose a lot of them, a lot of, I'm talking about thousands of boxes of meals.
Oh. Oh. By
Yeah.
the way, guys, you have like feel free to ask questions, huh? So I'm just running through my list of questions, but you can always ask questions.
I hope I was able to answer all your
Yeah,
questions,
yeah,
but
Yeah,
yes, that's right.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
okay,
It's
Kayo.
okay.
And what is the situation in the supply side? Like, how hard is it for you to, get the ingredients now
um,
versus before the pandemic? What was the change there?
yeah, that's a good question. Supplies now are it's scarce. Like
Mm-hmm,
it's very limited, and we really had to fight for our supply, and
mm-hmm,
our suppliers too. Like they're torn between serving us and other clients and other bigger establishments like
mm-hmm,
hotels or hospitals and all that. So I wouldn't say like we're as abundant as before.
mm-hmm,
So one of the many disadvantages that we're experiencing right now is that on Chef Bibo's side, because he creates the dish development, that's where the magic happens. Like he revolutionizes the menu on a weekly basis because we don't repeat our menus. Like we have like our menus change on a daily basis, so we don't repeat that.
Mm-mm.
So he can't be that creative anymore because of the lack of supply.
yeah, that's
Yeah, so so he goes, like I can't be this creative anymore because we don't have the supply, so we'll just stick to this, and it somehow affects the customer experience because our
Mm-mm.
clients they got used to um the poshy kind of like meals.
Surprise bill, yeah.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. So yeah, but it's something that on a daily we always look for solutions,
mm-hmm,
but
Mm-mm.
yeah, unfortunately we still don't have like bigger answers to that.
mm-hmm.
True.
Interesting. And we have here today Shane from the Cebu Farmers Market. Maybe Shane, you can also tell us a little bit about, what Cebu Farmers Market is
Oh,
doing.
I would love that. I would love that.
And also, yeah, how hard is it for you now to just, get uh, the supplies transported to the city?
Mm-mm. I see. Basically, there is no really any problem with the supply, honestly. Yes, there's no any problem with it. It's just because we're dealing directly to the farmers. The thing there is the transportation and what they normally do, or what we normally do here in farmers market. We directly actually contact the trusted customers that we have. Just we already have list of customers sa farmers market. So what we do is kanang mangayo mi nila og o product list sa mga farmers. Guys, farmers market is born because of our advocacy. Sorry, kinamiro. Sa among na born ang farmers market because of our advocacy of anti-GMO campaign because of that. So tanan namong mga produce it's organically grown gid na siya. So we
Wow.
do not so
Mm-mm.
mo gina amo ang kuan, amo ang purpose sa market. So we give sa market we give an avenue for the small farmers
Mhm.
to kuan gyud to to kanang avenue gyud to sell mao ginang amoa.
Yeah.
So
Ma'am Shane, question.
go ahead.
Question. Do you also cater for individuals or only for companies?
Depende. It really depends kay namang gyud mga kay we will check first the practices of the farmer. Kay we kay dili man gud mo ditso og kanang kuan because you are this company you can sell the market. Kay ang among venue said it's given for the venue owner for free because they know our advocacy it's for helping small farmers and who also promoting organic farming. So mo ginang amo kay we wanted as mo nang naka-resonate sa kani sir Sir Chime kay parag align ang kaan ba. And also we sa farmers market mo na mo is we're trying also to promote our own food good.
Mm.
So we're asking the farmers actually nga to grow our kanang mga vegetables nato nga dili good known dari sa to nga nara siya sa bukid kay within the city namang good what we dari sa to is more on lettuces, mga kale, mga ana ba.
Yes, correct.
So what we ask for our farmers is to grow our own vegetables. Magina nga mo yeah. Actually ang supply side lang nga mo is wala gini problem ana. Ang farmers lang ang moingon nga ay dili lang sa mi mo deliver ma'am kay kuan man singa nani dili mi mo deliver ma'am kay makamabuhi raman mi bisag wala mi sa city bisag dili mi kasal. So ang mga customer na mo, oh my god, how can we get those produce?
Yeah.
So we
Product.
ask our we ask our farmers nga please kay natin mga customer nga na close na nato, we already make a relationship with them. So they understand the situation. So every week na ami moadto mi sa office, we get the product list the ilahang produce kay we also respect unsa ang nag-grow. Okay, we will not also force them to grow this because kanang we call it cash crops. Kay mo ay masell sa city. Mo man na usually. So at the tamong farmer is kung unsay nag-grow nila, tagaan nila product, nya amo ihatag sa amo ang mga atong customers namo. And then they buy what the farmer produce. So mo nang maka-deliver kay mo ra man na nila. So mao na siya. So far what may problema sa supply because what they grow is that also what we sell.
Okay.
Transportation wise, nagka-problem lang me because of kanagong igikan ka sa province and then nya mo uli ka amuari ka sa city and then inigbalik nimo ngadto sa probinsya is ma-quarantine ka for 14 days. Mao lang gid na among problem kay ang mo
Okay.
deliver man sad good ang farmer.
Okay, so parang mid people, mid kwan lang mo communicator between the farmer and the customer.
Yes, we trying also to
Middle-
cut actually middlemen because we
Mm,
wanted kay sa farmers market man good we don't want faceless market. So ang nanindag yun is ang farmer. So if you have a concern, if you wanted to grow something, if you
Okay.
wanted to something like that kung unsa imuhang mga gustong buhaton sa imong farm and they will ask an advice. So mismo you can get an advice directly to the farmer.
Shane, your office is
So mo sa na nga
in
mo.
Panawa, right?
Hmm?
You have an office
I'm
in Panawa.
sorry.
You have an office in Panawa.
Yes, that's our office. And ang sa office namo is actually we're trying also to promote kanang organic lagi kanang practices, and we also have seed library nami mga seeds kay we also collect seeds we also collect seeds nga ato agyod like no GMO. So for example like na mga calamities na unsay mahitabo nga lano ang farmer dili naka farm, so we can provide seeds with them nga dili GMO. Okay, sadly ang ato ang government manggod is what they're giving to our farmers is GMO product. Fertilizers nga chemicals, mga seeds nga naay chemicals. So we have that nga ma-access sa ato ang mga farmers. So actually amo ang because we are an NGO, so we're still actually growing because new lang mi na himong NGO. But ang farmers market, it's been on 6 years na. Because of our campaign, anti-GMO campaign.
Wow.
Thank you, Shane. So I guess if they have like if they can contact you later, they have questions related to Cebu Farmers Market, they can also contact you on Facebook, Shane. No? Sige. So I'll move on to my other questions. I still have this list. Okay, so we're talking about the rising. I mean the difficulty in getting the supplies. Um, oh, Beth, Elizabeth, Beth, are you raising your hand, or is it like
I
Beth?
think it's like that.
Oh, okay.
Flat.
Okay, I thought you
A
just threw
clap.
it.
There's also a thumbs
uh,
up.
okay, sige, Beth. Anyways, yeah. So the difficulty in getting the supplies. Are you planning on like raising your menu prices, or are they gonna stay the same?
We actually haven't increased our price chart since 2 years ago. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't, and I think there is no need for us to. Um, I think the only time will increase is when we will change our containers from the plastic iPack containers to the paper boxes. I think that's the only time that will increase. But for now, there's no need for it yet because Cebuanos were very price conscious. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, no changes for now. But to be honest with you, we're like profit wise as an entrepreneur, I'm not seeing any profit glide path showing like as profitable as before. That's because like our expenses have doubled. By sheltering our employees alone, that's already a cost. And
Yeah,
then
correct.
and then we're paying them extra hazard pay, um, and what else? Their power, their electricity, their food as well. We're
Yeah, in
shouldering all
housing.
those things. So people have always asked us, "Hey, do you if you need to increase?" And I go, "I think now is not really the time to increase. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um, the time to increase is when everything's all good, like when everyone has settled."
Mm-hmm.
And then let's talk about the price increase later.
Yeah.
That's good. Um, any questions, Jess?
Nah, all good.
Shy?
Like all of my questions were answered rather along the way. Yep.
What about you, Shy? Shy? Moana? Any questions? I think Jarda dropped some technical issue there. Um, yeah, so feel free to ask. Okay, Shy?
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's for how I can call it Shine.
Chime.
Okay.
Chime. It's like the wind chimes, but without
Chime.
the S.
Chime. Yeah. I have a question for you because it's kind of specific market when we talk about the diet conscious people, or let's say common people who are going to think about diet food. So since it's very specific market, how you came up with this thing, like you will go for that particular specific market with the kind of investment and all.
That's a good question.
Mhm.
Was it Shailesh? How do
Yeah,
I address you, sir?
you can call me Shy.
Chai.
Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, that wasn't really part of our initial strategic planning, like identifying the market so that the business can thrive.
Mhm.
Um, um, when we've launched Diet in the Box, it was with the intent to really encourage everybody to switch to a healthier way of eating. It wasn't about any specific diet at all.
Mhm.
So it was like it was for a cause. So our advocacy at that time was to the cost that we're holding up to now is to really encourage everybody to switch to a healthier way of eating. So the different diet meal plans were then formulated, or it was engineered when those people that we were able to encourage to switch to a healthier way of eating, they gave us their specific diets already. Like, so these are the things that our doctors are requiring from us, and then they named it for us. So that came about the different
Ah,
four
very
diet meal plans.
nice.
So it wasn't really a difficult, strategic planning, or we have to think, hey, we have to have 4 diet meal plans, and we have to target this market. We have to target this market. We never had that conversation. So, and I think that's also one thing um, th- that worked because on set we never thought of that. It was just really about a cause. So and the more that you have a cause, the more that you talk about it, the more that you are um, anchored to your cause, the more you become more articulate, and people believe in you. People simply follow what you're doing.
Mm.
So it's easier for me to encourage them, and yeah, that simplified it for my market now. Yeah, I hope I was able to answer your question,
Yeah,
Shai.
yeah, that's really good, you know. I mean, nice. But you know, since like it's been 2 years, right? You came with this thing.
5 years.
5 years.
Sorry, 5 years.
Yeah.
So, right from the beginning, at what time you realize you can cope up with supply demand curve? Because initially, of course, everybody has to suffer when you come up with something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in which year you thought like you can easily or you cope up with supply and demand curve that you could get along with your needs with minimum losses?
That's a really good question. So you know what? Like we never really talked about the curve. So yeah, let me tell you a story. So Diet in a Box started with just two people. So it was just me and it was just Chef Bibo. And
Oh.
to tell you the truth, our what the investment is just only 6,000 pesos.
Really?
I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Swear to God, I'm gonna die right now. And yes,
Wow.
it was just really 6,000 pesos. And I told Chef Bibo of it, hey, do you really believe in your, your capabilities? Because, like I'm going to share to the world the things that you can do. And then he goes, yeah, one of the many things that's really weird about me is that I have this tendency to unlock the maximum potential of people. So I kind of have that special trick that like I want to like unlock their maximum potential. So and by doing that, I let the person or the people really understand their capabilities and what they can do. So when we started, I told him we don't actually need a lot of people in our business. It's just going to be you who will do the cooking, and then I will do the encouraging, the changing of the mindset of the people. And that lasted for 1 year. That partnership, that it was just like me and him working
Mm.
together. Yes,
Right.
believe it or not. So we
Right.
never talked about any strategies in growing, but the demand was high already on our second month. So so I told, and then, but at that time, people was like, I can no longer handle this because we already have at that time on our second month, we already have 100 clients. And he goes, I think I can no longer handle this all by myself. Um, I
Mm.
think I need to hire one person to, assist me on my cooking. And then I told him, no, you still don't need it. There's still a lot of things you can discover, and at that time I wasn't doing full time for Diet in a Box. I was also doing corporate work. And my job at that time, I was assigned in a very, very big company. Like, I can't name it, but it's super duper big. I was paid in dollars, so I can't just easily give up on that work. So I was like, we were both juggling a lot of crystal balls. So his health, his number one, his health, his family, his friends, his sleep, and then mine is that my career, my self identity. Who am I really? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I really a trainer or what? So many things. We're juggling so many things, and then we never really discussed about the supply and the demand. We never really had that discussion. All we had in mind was that we have, as the as we continue to progress on this business, as we continue to like encourage more people to switch to a healthier way of eating, we already how do you call this one, preset our minds that there will be a lot of clients who would ask for order requests. It's gonna bulk in,
Yeah.
so we have to be prepared for that, regardless when, if that will happen tomorrow or the next day. when we'll see the curve, we wouldn't really know, as long as it's just gonna be there. Up to date, we still don't discuss that still with the team. Very weird. We've only swear to God, we really don't discuss that. But I hope I was able to. I think it's not the kind of working rhythm that we do in Diet in a Box is not very. It's not conventional.
Conventional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not conventional. Maybe because it's ran by a cause. It's run by a cause,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
yeah,
Mm.
maybe because of
Good.
that.
You seem
Uh,
like you really. Mhm. Yes, Shy.
Sorry, I have so many questions. Okay, yes,
Go
yes.
go, please, please,
Yeah, sure.
Eh,
please do.
Actually, I saw, currently with this our scenario, like the Corona thing, it's
Mm,
really a crisis. And in some countries, some startup came with diet, let's say the Corona diet, infused with vitamins and let's say those particular things. So why don't you think on that aspect?
wow,
Vitamin?
wow, it's
Yes, yes.
amazing.
It's like there are some
What?
countries who are taking the, let's say, contacts of the patients
Mm-hmm.
and providing them the diet infused with the vitamins like vitamin C on time and all for corona patients.
Wow,
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
that's a very nice idea.
Yeah. Yeah, because, yeah.
But right now, though, we are actually supporting three hospitals in the city,
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah,
How do you communicate with hospitals? They
they reach
prepare the
to us.
specific, they provide the specific diet food,
Yeah,
list of
they
diet
do.
food.
They do.
Mm,
Actually, it's the doctors that would call us first because it's very specific. So yeah, and for now that there's this pandemic, we're like
mm,
serving three hospitals here in the city
mm,
and one in Mandaue, so that's four. And we're serving them on a regular basis for their employees and for their patients. So
nice.
yeah, but we don't have like a specific one that's really to fight for COVID or
Yeah.
like this is
So how do your customers provide their feedback? Do you have a written comment box, or they just give you a message or text? How do they communicate as to feedbacks by your customers?
we love in Diet in a Box. We love like hearing everybody's feedback. Like,
Oh.
yeah, that's one thing that we truly love hearing from people. Like it's very humbling that because that's the only thing that I tell people of this. You know, we're only as good as our last operations. You know, and that's the
Mm-mm.
truth about it. So we really have to hear our clients' feedback. So that's the reason why the site is designed to have a feedback or a survey form. So it's there.
Okay.
On the site, you can submit the feedback on a weekly basis as well. We have this technology from Globe. We call it Amber. We pay Amber big time, and Amber does a lot of like surveys. So Amber, some Amber is like a smart technology where Amber communicates to all of our clients on that roster, so to all 500
Mm.
clients, and then Amber would ask them of their feedback, and then Amber
Okay.
collects everything, and then we actually have a measure. So um, on a the survey goes. Um, basing from this week's delivery, how likely are you going to recommend Diet in a Box to your friends and family? A,
Mm.
food, B, delivery, C, customer service, and then comments below, and then it's written everything there. And then once Amber
Mm.
then collates everything, it goes to our special tracker. Then
Mm-mm.
we understand the data, and that's where we get to see if we're really anchored to our purpose. So on the next day, that's the first measure that I show to my team. I tell them, Hey, do you guys know how anchored we are to our purpose? And then they go,
Mm.
we don't know, sir. What? I'm gonna show them. I tell them. So out of 500 clients, there are like 100 that says this is our performance for today. Blah blah blah. Something like that.
Oh.
So the
Ah, okay.
communication is very important. The language that I use, I don't tell them that, hey, this is us, this is our survey, like something like that. I always tell them like, how anchored are we with our purpose. They kind of like
Mm.
that language, so it drives them to do better.
Yes. Okay.
Good thing is you're really, very much, grounded and anchored to the purpose. And maybe that's one of the main things that's, keeping things up even in times of a pandemic. Um, Things are really changing quite rapidly during this pandemic, and they say that it's hard to plan now given that things are changing quite rapidly. So what is, how do you move forward? What are your plans for not plans, not really, how do you move forward? I'll stop myself from asking for a plan because yeah, a lot of people are saying there's no need to plan anymore.
Yeah, because you've been planning. Because of the ECQ, you just plan.
Yeah.
The move forward part, that's a very difficult question to
Mhm.
answer because even if I'd like to think myself that I'm a smart person, but in this pandemic, like things change overnight. A lot of things change overnight. Like we wouldn't really know. And so I told everybody, including our back of house team, that we're just going to focus on the things that we can control right now, and to plan ahead, that's something that would just stress us out. So as long as we have served our clients already, as long as we're able to put life to our cause, as
Mhm.
we're now existing again on our community, and we're serving our community again, I think that's just enough for now. But to because my business development team, that's what they do, right? They bombard you with all those meetings and what do we do to be the best, blah, blah, blah. And I tell them there's no need for us to be the best right now. The only thing that's important right now is that we've served our community and we're all alive, and let's strengthen more on our health security measures, and that's just really it. I'm thinking of a lot of planning by 2021, the soonest time that the vaccine will be available. And that's, yeah, that's one thing. Actually, before we started 2020, we've had a lot of plans for 2020, but COVID happened. So we had to pause
Yeah.
all those. And I don't feel like those plans that we've thought of is also relevant for 2021.
Mhm.
So yeah, we have to change our game. We have to change our game.
They say it's a time for introspection, a lot of like self-reflection, maybe as individuals. So what about you as an entrepreneur? What other things have you, learned during this pandemic?
Um, Goodness. Things that I've learned. God, like, um, oh, Jesus Christ. That's a difficult question right there. You know what? Like when the ECQ was rolled out first, I remember the time now we had to temporarily suspend operations for 4 weeks. Um, Chef Bibo and I, we went to their resort in Aluginsan. It's called Lunhao Farm Resort. It's very beautiful. I love it there. It's a mountain resort. So we
Mm.
sheltered there at their resort. I loved it there. I even told him, let's not go back to the city anymore. Because, like this is, and then we brought our little boy with us, and we were just like happy there. I read a lot of books. It was so amazing because there's so many things that I haven't read 2019, and I am starting to read while I was there. And then I told Bibo, until when are we going to stay here? And then he goes, until such time that you'll be reminded that you're needed back in the city. it took us, and it took me it took us 4 weeks, right? Because clients have been calling, clients have been forcing us to resume. So I told myself this year, I mean, this pandemic, I've learned that whilst I was there, I learned that um, um, you can just do so little in this pandemic. Because number one, I am not really scientifically literate. Medical side, I don't know a lot about those things, and I don't even, I even shut down when my best friend, who happens to be a doctor, like starts talking about COVID and all that. My brain just shuts down, and then yeah, and so I'm focused right now with my family. I'm super focused with them. My little boy, I'm focused with him. I learned so much. I've learned so many things. Yeah. One of which, and I always tell my friends, it's okay if you don't learn anything, or if it's okay if you don't progress while we're at this pandemic, and it's okay if you don't feel better. It's okay not to read a book. If you just like want to watch Netflix the whole day, then do it. This is the perfect time for you to have your moment. Whatever,
Reflection.
yeah, whatever you want to do with yourself, then just do it. Like, and don't come back to me and tell me, Chime, I've read one book, just for the heck of, like, letting me know that you've read a whole book and something like that. I told my family that you don't have to do something right now. Just be at home and be safe. And let's see how things go the next day. It's kind of depressing, no? Aren't you guys depressed? Aren't you guys depressed? Very depressing. Yes, it is. Very
Actually, stay at home is the best char for this time.
for,
Stay safe.
for this time, I know. But the only thing that I'm happy about is that I don't get to see people anymore. Like, that's one thing that I'm happy about.
Sige, so actually it's already 7:12. I have a last question, but
Oh,
before
sure.
that, I'll let you guys ask. I mean, do you have other questions before we end this with the last question?
This is really funny. I like it because no one has asked me all these questions during the pandemic. So
Sige.
this is
Oh,
really
sorry,
fun.
Beth, you have a question? Shine, ikaw. Any question? Moana.
I have no
I have a
question, miss.
question.
Ano yun? Sige, sige. And anyways, okay. So,
Shane, I have a
uh,
question,
oh,
Ting.
Shane. Oh, sige. Sure.
Yeah, because I check actually your time, your diet in the box, the food.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah,
Thanks.
and then actually right now, most they like advocate right now plant based. So are you planning like to change into a plant based diet, or you have to like to stick on your what you're doing right now?
Oh, we actually have plant-based already. That's one of our
Oh,
red
okay.
meat plans. We call it plant-based or vegan.
Mm-mm.
Apart from vegan, we also have the ketogenic diet. We also have the lean machine. That's the high protein diet, and we also have the calorie counter diet. The vegan or the plant-based, we launched that last year. Um,
I
if
see.
I'm not mistaken, October. Yeah, a lot of people are doing vegan right now, but I'm not vegan. I tried one day. Oh my god, I, I can't do vegan. I miss the meat. Have I answered your question? I hope I was able to answer.
Yes, yes, you were.
You go vegan, guys.
You too. To do vegan.
So
Sige.
this is class. So this is a class then, like one whole
So,
class.
actually, some of these people are my former students.
Mm.
Some are currently still my students. Yeah, come to think
Okay.
about it, we had like about how many 10, 12
Yeah.
enrollees last term, and
Yeah.
then only six,
Hmm.
I think, finished. So yeah, it's a good thing because This is continuous learning. I always tell everybody to just stop reading books and just learn from the real people, because conversations like this are actually more educational than reading all those books that you prescribe. But
Right.
hopefully, you share the same sentiments. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes. I agree.
Okay, sige. Yeah. So, what insights? I mean, these people are actually also planning to maybe start their own businesses in the future if they haven't already. So maybe you have like some, tips, whatever, hacks, or anything that you can share with them.
Wow. um, that's a good question again. Well, I am not really a guru or a master when it comes to entrepreneurship. Let's start there, okay? But I think one of the many things that I could share to you guys is that I always talk
Manila
about
madungog.
I always talk about my purpose. Like, you really have to know the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. And as an entrepreneur, the game is not about profits. No, it's not about that. The real wisdom of entrepreneurship is leadership. Like, if you're able to advance people along with you or bring them along in your journey, and that's actually the real wisdom of entrepreneurship. You have to have a cause with you, and if you want to do that as your business, then profit will come in. So the reason why I'm still doing what I'm doing right now is because I have this foundation. It's called Minds on Wheels. It's a moving library. We're
Ah,
actually the
yeah,
very
I've heard about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. So we're the very first moving library in Cebu since 70s. So the last moving library we have in Cebu was still the 70s. Dugay na kayo. And now we have Minds on Wheels. It's a nonprofit foundation that aims to strengthen literacy in the rurals of Cebu and Cebu province. So it's called Minds on Wheels. And I am anchored to that foundation. I'm one of the founders. The founders are actually myself and Bibo too. So the reasons why I do what I do is because of that. Um, um, I want to make sure that in every occasion or in every opportunity that I get to talk to people, I let them know na the reasons why we exist is for us to make something greater ba in the world. And I continue to do that. And we have to continue to do that. So if you want to be an entrepreneur in the future, do it for a cause. Do it with a cause. I'm sorry, so that the universe will help you. There you go.
Yes. Nice.
Nice. Okay, so it's already 7:19. It's a pity that we don't have a lot of time. I wish we could, stay conversing for a much longer time. And this has been a really fun conversation, Chime. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope. I mean, I think the guys will agree with me that there are a lot of learnings and a lot of good things from this conversation. So thank you, and hopefully we can invite you again. Uh, this is there's no virtual coffee in here, but
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully we can invite you again in the future. We want to keep doing this. Weekly session. It's really just a chill session, so we can still keep on talking even if we don't get to see each other. So yeah, so thank you very much, and guys, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thank you
hopefully,
also, Chai.
Thank you, guys.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Mark. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sir
thanks.
Mark.
It was
This
really
was
fun.
fun.
It's really fun. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye
Bye
bye.
Enjoy your
bye.
Bye
weekend.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
So much. Hello.
bye.